Hello everyone and welcome back to A Bit Tactical, where today I'm going to be going over the Melta Gunner and the normal trooper. There's no real reason that these guys are put together other than potentially they have a lot of synergy together if you use them in a certain way. But just like with all my other guides, if you just want the stats read, it's going to be at the end of the video. There's going to be timestamps below so that you can go to whatever part of the video you want to. But I like to just get into the guide because that's my favorite part of doing anything on YouTube. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, again, let's go with general strats first for a general game. Obviously, Melta up top, dropping in somebody's face. That's very, very easy. Like, it's what you want to do. There's almost no reason not to do that. You'd have to come up with specific reasons why you wouldn't want to do that, and there's not really any good reasons why you wouldn't want to do that, right? The only time that this can backfire on you is if your opponent is being really cagey and you can't find a good opportunity for your Melta Gunner to drop into somebody's face and kill them. Usually it is a trade. Aquilons have a better survivability with this because they do get that a little bit of obscuring after they drop. However, that might be enough to actually just keep them alive, right? Sometimes when you're dropping people left and right and your opponent gets overwhelmed with targets, or they start losing people that could have had good shots against that person, that could happen. Also, you could set it up correctly in a way that you guarantee there's going to be cover for your guy. And if you can do that, you can actually not guarantee survival, but you can increase his survival odds, making it so that turning point 3, you actually have a good chance to have a second kill with your Melta. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to keep him on the ground, again, I don't know why necessarily you would, unless, again, every board is different, every game is different. If you see a reason that it should be on the ground, 100% go for it, right? You have your Grenadier there. You're going to have the ability to give him a third APL so you can guarantee the movement in order to get a kill. And if that's what you think needs to happen in order to win the match, then go right ahead and do that. And then you have the troopers. Now, the things that makes the trooper special is that it has the reposition at the beginning of the game from deployment, or it can drop 4 inches outside of the marker instead of 3. And 4 inches is actually pretty big. It's a big difference, okay? That inch, okay? Believe me when I say, an inch can make all the difference in the world. So, especially here, because it's within. It's not wholly within. Remember, guys, I will always bring it up. Wholly within and within. That 4 inches is really a 5-inch reposition. In fact, it's a little bit more than a 5-inch reposition. So, definitely take advantage of that every single time you get the chance. If you have your guys up top there, try to get them out into the field as far as possible to get shots. I am not joking when I say that 4 inches is a lot. It can help you capture your opponent's home objective. It could help you get into a better position to get shooting attacks. It could help you do a lot, basically, with these guys. Which is why I actually do like to have at least 2 up in the air, just so I can have that 3-4 hitting on 3s chip damage that you sometimes get, especially against teams that save on 4s or 5s that have that 7 to 8 wounds, right? These guys are like super susceptible to your normal troopers and their normal weaponry, right? Dropping them in an inconvenient position and then shooting them. Number one, you're doing a few things. You're creating a threat and you're creating a problem for your opponent that they have to deal with, right? So you're doing 2 things, because sometimes something could be a threat, but it's not necessarily a problem because it's on the other side of the board. They've already taken their shot and maybe they failed or they got it, whatever. But here, it is now a problem because it's on their back line. They have to deal with it. If they do not, turning point 3, you're going to have 1 model or 2 right there ready to take advantage. They don't want that, so they have to deal with it. So they have to waste an activation, maybe even 2, trying to get rid of you, right? And if you're dropping in quick succession, you have 3-4 models all on the back line, all having shot somebody, doing chip damage. Now you have people going back and forth. Dice are rolling. Some of your operatives are dying, so others are not. Now it's a big chaotic mess. And actually, that's exactly what you want. Remember, you have 11 operatives now. So you can keep 6 relatively safe on your side of the board, not caring at all, and then have 5 just go out there and maybe die, maybe not, do chip damage, kill people, do mission actions, all that good stuff, and it's totally fine. And that's kind of why I put the Melta Gunner and the Troopers together, because they're good at doing that, right? The Melta's always going to want to kill somebody and then probably die, and that's fine. You're okay with that, right? As long as the model that they kill is important, right? But with the Troopers, you can do even more than that. You can get onto the home objective of your opponent, you can capture it using your firefight ploy, and then you can shoot somebody. So now you've done chip damage, you created a threat, you created a problem, and you've scored a VP. Or you've made it so that they have to now waste more time capturing their home objective if they've already captured it, right? Like, there's so many benefits that come from the Troopers that I really do think having them up top, Turning Point 2, even over some other models, is probably a good idea. Also, this could lead to your opponent making a few mistakes, right? Let's say you've got a good battle plan for Turning Point 2. You drop one trooper, you do your damage, you tell your guy, hey, just so you know, this guy is obscured. If you shoot him, it's going to be an obscured shot unless you get within 2 inches. There's a good chance your opponent's not going to take that next shot. Maybe wait a little bit. In fact, a good player on Kill Team, that's usually what they do anyway. They don't immediately shoot somebody that's just been expended. They let the turning point go out a little bit, and then when you've made some moves and they've made some moves, they have like a gunner or something to take out that opponent, because they'd rather take out somebody that hasn't activated yet to, take away some of your activations. But that actually goes in your favor a little bit, right? Now you're going to have multiple people dropping. You're going to have multiple people doing chip damage, and then the problems in the situations are stacking up, right? Now, let's say that they had saved a gunner, right, or two, but now you've got 3 or 4 models that they have to choose from, right? Now you can see it as they're spoiled for choice, but now actually a competent player, their whole strategy has kind of been turned on them a little bit, right? Because now, where before they would have had 2 good shots to take at somebody against you, now you don't care that 3 or 4 of your models are out there exposed. They now have to only kill 2, and now you have 2 threats on their side of the board that they have to deal with in Turning Point 3, and you can take advantage of in Turning Point 3. Now, what you could do also is be super aggressive Turning Point 1, I guess. Have your troopers down on the ground, get that free 3-inch reposition action, or it's a full reposition action, but it has to be ended within 3 inches of your drop zone, and then go from there. That is possible. I could see that being something you may want to do, especially if you don't want your opponent to know anything about your deployment, right? Or even your game plan. You just have your troopers on the ground, maybe the plasma gunner, that's it, and then everybody else is dropping Turning Point 1, and then, of course, Turning Point 2. I could see you wanting to do that just to hide your plans, and it's not a bad idea, especially since, again, the troopers, they got that 3-inch reposition. They can move up the board faster than probably anybody else on your team, even with the marker, right? Because they can have that move and dash plus the 3 inches. So, with that being said, Turning Point 1, having them on the ground, not a bad idea. But again, Turning Point 2, having the people back there, shooting, doing mission actions, stuff like that, I think that's actually really good and worth it. It helps split your opponent's attention, and you, as an 11 operative team, could still have a lot of threats. In fact, the majority of your threats in Turning Point 3, and your normal troopers sacrificing themselves to do things in Turning Point 2. And just do not disregard the 3-4 damage with the 3-up hit. Do not disregard this, okay? Especially if you've got balanced on it, right? Potentially even severe. Don't sleep on this. That chip damage can be destructive. Being able to just do a little bit of damage, especially to a model that's not an elite model, right? That 7-8 wounds models, those models, they take even a normal damage from you and they're starting to be in trouble. They take a crit damage from you. Some of them are injured. Others are all about to, 1 point from being injured, right? And these models usually have 4-up saves. So now there's a good chance they're not that they're going to save something, but the 2 damage of yours will go through. And if that happens, now they really are injured, no matter what, right? No model like that can take 6 damage and not be injured unless they have a special rule. Now, I do have one wacky strat. Now, up until now, I've been talking about just 2, maybe 3 troopers up top doing the stuff that I just said. However, a lot of people with this box probably built a 4th trooper. And they did it because they didn't build the plasma trooper, or they probably just didn't build the plasma trooper because on the instructions it doesn't tell you that. You could, right? It gives you that 4th trooper because GW just loves to troll a little bit. So there is another strat that you could potentially try, and that's 4 troopers up top, and the 5th being the Melta. Everybody else is on the ground. Everybody else is supporting you, but this is the sudden offensive. You're going to use sudden offensive, maintain momentum, and then drop and secure. Okay, so that's 3 CP. Okay, that's basically all your CP, but it's okay. It's fine because you're also going to probably use hot drop at some point as well, because you're going to have 5 shooting attacks going off here, and you're going to use all 5 of these models, right? If you don't have a valid target here, you should, but if you don't have a valid target here, you're going to then capture the objective without having to use anything, right? And if it's one of those situations where they take it back, well, that's fine. You have drop and secure. You're going to drop one of your models. You're going to use that free mission action, and then you're going to shoot somebody. Or you're going to shoot somebody, and then you're going to use that free mission action, right? That's what you're going to do over and over again. And you're going to do it with 4 troopers, and then you're going to finally top it all off with dropping your Melta as soon as you have all this chaos going on here, right? And you've had 5, there's 10 activations having gone at this point, and you are doing this in sequential order, right? You are not going to use any of your guys on the bottom or at the back on your side of the field, right? You're going to just use these guys. And for those guys, by the way, you should push them all the way up as far as you can, be as aggressive as you can, so that your opponent, once they're done dealing with your 5-man offensive here, you now have all the opportunity to take advantage of that situation. Now, this is heavy CP intensive, number 1. Number 2, if they are KG at all, it's probably not going to work. And number 3, there's no number 3. But it would be fun if it works. And it can work out, okay? Especially if somebody that hasn't played against Aquilons yet, you can just do this. Right? If they're super aggressive too, if they're super aggressive, and like a lot of melee teams are, and even some elite teams are super aggressive, I think this actually does work. Just because they're not expecting it, they're trying to deal with the threats here, and then you have the whole other side of your team, which is your gunners, which is your specialist. They're actually still a big threat, and they are able to take advantage of that. And hopefully you got into good positions, especially with Vocus. But yeah, that's it for the wacky strat. And that's actually it for the guide portion of this video. And we're going to go on to the rules read. So, goodbye, God people. Remember, I like you better than the rules read people. I always have. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. All right, let's start out with the Aquilon Trooper. His stat line is 2 APL, a 6-inch move, and a 4-up save with 8 wounds, so not too bad. He's got the Hot Shot Last Carbine, which is 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 3-4 damage, and that comes with the Fist, which is 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, 2-3 damage. He comes with 2 passives, Rapid Insertion and Swift Landing. Rapid Insertion is a strategic gambit. In the first strategy phase, each friendly Tempestus Aquilon Trooper operative wholly within your drop zone can immediately perform a free reposition action, but must end that move wholly within 3 inches of your drop zone. And Swift Landing, when this operative lands, you can set it up within 4 inches of one of your drop markers, measuring horizontal distance only, taking precedence over the normal distance requirement. Then you have the Aquilon Melta Gunner. He's got 2 APL, 6-inch move, 4-up save, 8 wounds. He comes with the Melta Carbine, which is 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 6-3 damage, range 6, which means he can only shoot within 6 inches of him, devastating 4, which means upon a crit, he immediately does 4 damage that cannot be blocked, and piercing 2, which means your opponent will only roll 1 save die against this attack. He also comes with Fist, which is 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, 2-3 damage. Don't look at the Plasma Carbine. That is not part of this video. Alright, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, rules read people, I definitely like you better than I like the other guys. And I'll see you later.